All right, everybody. My name is Travis Risher. I am the community engagement minister here at Hickory Grove. Jack asked me to fill in because he needed to take care of his baby or something like that. But he told me that the sermon series is what he did for me. So I want to share my story. I want to tell you that God exposed some lies that I have heard in my life and thought in my life, and he revealed some truths to me. So, here's my story. I grew up in church. I had two very loving parents that took me there. My father was actually a lead pastor at a very small country church. In fact, there are probably more people here tonight than I was used to seeing on a Sunday morning. But I was drugged to church every Sunday morning, every Sunday night, and Wednesday night, probably like many of you guys. So basically every time the door was open, I was there. And so from a very young age, I heard all of the things. I heard that Jesus loved me. I heard that he died on a cross. I heard that he came back to life after 3 days. I heard that he conquered death and defeated the grave, and that he wants to spend forever with me, wants me to spend forever with him in heaven. I heard that over and over and over again from a very young age. And so at the age of 8 years old, I was baptized because I believed that. I believe that to be true, and I still do. But I would go to church. I would open my Bible on Sundays and Wednesdays. I would pray, and I would do that again and again and again and again for most of my young life. Like many of you guys, I went to church camp and got really close and really connected with God for a week. And then I come back home and I live my life just like I used to. So I was attempting to grow in my relationship with Jesus, but I wasn't really. So I graduated from Simon Kenton back in 2000. It's very easy to remember. It was 25 years ago. One day you will wake up and you will just be old. You'll be like, man, what happened? For all the adults that are in the room, they're like, it'll sneak up on you. When I was your age, I thought a 4-year-old was like, you're going to die next week, right? 40, that's the oldest you could get. But here I am, almost 43 years old. So what happened after that? I graduated, and my family actually started coming to Hickory Grove when I was a senior in high school. And as a senior, I wasn't really connected here, so I didn't really get involved with Grove Youth. I would come on Sundays with my parents, and that was about it. But shortly after, I went to Eastern Kentucky University, and I remember before leaving, my parents were like, whatever you do, find a church when you go off to college. And I was like, okay, for sure, I'll do that. That sounds like a good plan. And the very first weekend, I went to a church, and it was terrible. It was a bunch of old people. I didn't connect with anyone. It was super boring. I was like, this is the lamest church I've ever been to. And for a year and a half, I did not go back to church. Did not. I tell you what I did do. I had a real good time, okay? I joined a fraternity. I lived that party life. If there were bad choices to be made, I was doing it. And frankly, I turned my back on my relationship with Jesus. And I was walking about as far away from the Lord as possible. I remember things got so bad. This was the third semester that I was away at college. I had stopped going to school. I was basically just working to support some other bad habits. And I remember I was in my dorm room, laying on my bed. I was so depressed. I was so sad. I knew that I was not living the life that my parents had raised me to. And I just remember crying. I remember crying in my bed like a pitiful, pitiful boy. And the only thing I could muster out was, God, please help me. I can't keep doing this. God, please help. And so the next day I called my parents and was like, this ain't working out. I am not doing good. I'm doing real bad, actually. And I had to tell him that I was dropping out of school, and I felt like a total failure. So one of the first lies that was revealed to me was, I can do this on my own. This is a lie I told myself. I was like, I'm all right. I'm good. I can do this. I couldn't. I think sometimes we try to convince ourselves that we're a lot stronger than we really are. And in John chapter 12, it says this, I have come into the world as light, so that whoever believes in me may not remain in darkness. I was in a dark place, y'all. It was like I was walking around with my eyes closed and be like, yeah, I'm good. I got this. I was in a dark, dark place, and I had walked away from the only light that I knew, and that was Jesus. So I came back home feeling like a total failure. And I didn't know what to do, but my parents were like, you got to do something. So I went to NKU for a semester. I wasn't really ready. I didn't know what I was going to do. That didn't work out. So the whole summer I was trying to figure out what am I going to do with my life. And I remembered that I loved cooking with my grandma. And Cincinnati State is a small sister school of the University of Cincinnati, and they had just opened up a brand new culinary arts building, and you could get your degree in culinary arts. I thought being a chef might be something that would be really cool. So I did the whole training, and in the last semester, I realized, I don't think this is what I want to do. I did finish, but it was during that time that I was trying to get right back with Jesus, and there was this guy, his name is Bill Clark. He was the student minister at the time, and he was like, hey, we need some young adults to come work with these kids. And so I started working with Grove Youth, and I fell in love with it. I fell in love with working with middle school and high school kids, and so I finished my degree in culinary arts. And just a little while later, I realized, man, I think my calling is to work with young people. So I went back to Northern Kentucky University. I got my degree in middle grades education. And for 6 years, I was a middle school teacher. I was doing all right. I met my wife then. We were teaching a small group together. We got married here at Hickory Grove in 2008. And that whole time, I was trying to grow with Jesus, but I was just leaning back to my old ways. I kept slipping back into those dumb sins that I just couldn't get rid of. And I made excuses, and I said things like this. Maybe you can relate. Nobody's perfect, right? I'm better than they are. I'm a decent person. And I kept making excuses. I'm better than I used to be. I'm trying to make a difference. And the second lie that was revealed to me, was exposed, was that I was a good person. Turns out, none of us are good people. In fact, this is crazy. The Bible says that if you have even thought of something bad towards someone, it's as if you murdered them. So we're just throwing strays at people. We're all murderers in this room because all of us have thought something bad about another person. We have said something bad. We have done something bad to another person. Turns out there's none of us that are good. We do nice things for people. We make good choices sometimes, but we ultimately are not good. In fact, the only thing that is good in us is Jesus. It says here in Isaiah chapter 64, we have become like one who is unclean. Our righteous deeds are like a polluted garment. Other verses say filthy rags. You ever put on some dirty pants before? Where you're like, I ain't got nothing else. And you just throw on some dirty, you're like, hang on. Ugh, is that me? Your good deeds are like dirty, nasty pants. They are like a filthy rag. And here's the problem, is that we compare ourselves to other people. Be like, at least I'm not like this kid who got kicked out of school for punching some guy in the face. At least I didn't cuss out my teacher in front of her, right? We start comparing ourselves to other people, and you start finding all the people that are really stupid, and you're like, at least I'm not as dumb as that person. At least I'm not as ugly as her. At least, whatever. I can shoot basketball better than that guy. Whatever it may be, we are real good at comparing ourselves to other people. But God says, don't compare yourselves to other people. Compare yourselves to a holy God, and then you'll figure out you're not as great as you think you are. So, it was in the summertime, I was reading a Bible study about a guy named Gideon. He is in the book of Judges. It's the Old Testament. I know many of you are like, Old Testament, gross. I don't get it. It's old. I don't relate to any of that. Give me Jesus, give me the New Testament, give me some Gospels. I'm into it. But I'm telling you, the Old Testament is so legit. Gideon. I've never related with someone more in the Bible than this guy named Gideon. He was a coward. He was weak. He was lousy. He told God no a bunch of times. And he came up with a whole bunch of excuses. And I was like, oh, that's me. I'm that guy. But God refused to give up on him. God refused to give up on him. And so God revealed a truth to me while reading about Gideon. He revealed this truth to me, that it isn't about you. It's about God. It isn't about me. It's about God and what he can do through me. In Judges chapter 6, verse 16, it says, and the Lord said to him, but I will be with you, and you shall strike the Midianites as one man. So the Israelites were fighting against this other people group, and Gideon was like, nope, not me. And God's like, but I'm with you. And if you're on my squad, we ain't going to lose. And so it was through reading that story that I realized that God could use dumb, broken, lost, pitiful old me for whatever. And it was the summer of 2014 when I put my yes on the table for Jesus. And I said, I don't know what you want me to do, but I'm in. The next summer, I started working part-time here at Hickory Grove. Bill Clark was now senior pastor and said, hey, we need someone to lead Upward Sports. And so my first job here was part-time interim Upward Sports director. So we had flag football, and we had basketball and cheerleading and all these different things. And I said, I'll do that. I'll sign up for that. Some of you in here have been through the Upward program. So you've seen me before with that. That's where I first started. But I said yes. I said yes to him. And so I've been working here full time for 10 years at Hickory Grove. And I really wanted to impress the Lord. I was going to work my tail off for him. I'm going to outserve everybody. Lord, I'm going to do so much good for you. I'm going to make up for all of the crappy stuff that I did when I was younger. I'm in it, Lord. I am going to serve till my fingers bleed. And I spent so much time trying to serve the Lord that I forgot to prioritize spending time with him. And so another lie was exposed, that I can impress God. That's a lie. I cannot impress God. There is nothing that you can do to make God love you more. And there is nothing you can do to make God love you less. But we tell ourselves that. I'll just be a good person. I'll try really hard, Lord. This week is going to be different, Lord. I am going to be better. And we try to earn God's love. But that's not what he wants from us. In Luke chapter 10, there's a story of two sisters. In verse 38, it says this, now as they were on their way, Jesus entered a village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. And she had a sister called Mary who sat at the Lord's feet and listened to his teaching. And in verse 40, it says this, but Martha was distracted with much serving. And she went up to him and said, Lord, do you not care that my sister has left me to serve alone? Tell her to help me. But the Lord answered her, Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things, but one thing is necessary. Mary has chosen the good portion, which will not be taken away from her. Mary was over here like, Jesus is in my house. I need to make him bread. I need to fix this couch over here. I need to fluff the pillows. I need to make sure all the food is ready. We got to get all this right. The Lord is here. We got to get our acts together. And Mary is just chilling, just like, tell me more. What more stories do you got? And was just sitting at his feet, listening to him. Martha was distracted by serving. And that was me for so many years of my ministry. Here I was, a full-time staff member, trying to earn my way to God's love by just serving and doing and being good and looking impressive. And God revealed a truth to me that Jesus just wants a deep personal relationship with you. You know, I've heard this said before, that love is often spelled T-I-M-E. When you were younger, all you wanted to do was spend time with your parents or your grandparents. You just couldn't get enough. And now some of you are like, you couldn't pay me to hang out with my mom and dad. But now they probably are the ones that are craving that. Love is spelled time. And Jesus does too. He's like, I just want to spend time with you. You can't impress me. You're nothing. I love you, but you're not all that. Quit trying to earn my love. Just be with me. Man, I'm so much like Martha. If I just serve well enough, then you'll really love me. But here's the truth. Over the last year, I have been really prioritizing spending every single day being in God's Word. No cheat days, no off days, no rest days. Every day. Every day. And I don't say that to brag. I say that because I desperately need Jesus every single day. Because if I don't, then I know I'm going to turn back to the darkness. So many of my friends have done that, where they have just like, I'm good. I know the things. I don't need this. And we do. We desperately need him every single day. I love this podcast. It's called The Bible Recap. There's this lady, her name is Tara Lee Cobble, and years ago she would read the Bible and then be like, this is super confusing. I don't understand this. What's the context? How does this apply to me? I don't get it. So she met with her pastor, and he walked through the Bible in a year with her and explained all these different nuances and context. And she said something to me that penetrated my soul. She said, reading the Bible isn't a box to check. It is air to breathe. And I felt that. I felt it in my soul. Because so many times as Christians, we're just like, we're going to do this. I read my Bible today, and I prayed, and I sent an encouraging text to someone, and I did this, and it's just another thing on your list. And it's not. And when she said that to me, it took my breath away, because I realized that I've been checking boxes. Check out the Bible Recap. It's great. It's so good. It's helped me understand a lot more, especially about the Old Testament. I'm going to teach you a fancy word. It's called sanctification. Repeat after me, sanctification. Okay, sanctification is a big fancy word, and it means this. It's ongoing transformation of believers of Jesus. It means you're growing. It means you're growing closer with Jesus. You'll never be Jesus, but we can be more like Jesus. We can share some more of the characteristics that he has. Sanctification is an ongoing transformation of believers of Jesus. I think about it like this. Humans grow up. Got little babies. I saw baby Ezra today. Adorable. You know what baby Ezra can do? Nothing. He can't do anything. His parents have to give everything to this child or it will not live. Babies know nothing and must be taught everything. As a baby believer, you don't know things either. When I was 8 years old and I got saved and I got baptized, I didn't know what sanctification was. I didn't know scripture. But people had to teach me, and I had to want to learn. And for the longest time, pretty much the first 10 years of me being a Christian, I didn't really want to learn. I like going to church and seeing my friends. And then you've got toddlers, like baby Jude, right? Man, they've got some adorable children. Toddlers, they can walk by themselves. They can feed themselves a little bit, but they're still learning and they can't do a lot. I wonder how many people in this room are baby Christians. They're toddler Christians. Then you've got teenagers. Now, this is a real broad generalization and would never describe anyone in this room. Obviously, people at other churches, right? I'm talking about other teenage church kids. Some can cook, some can clean, but many of them lack wisdom. Not you guys, other teenagers, right? Other teenagers, pretty selfish. And other teenagers think they know more than they do. Then you've got adults who can provide for themselves and provide for others. But we still need reminders. Then you've got those grandparents that hopefully are imparting wisdom and guidance and care. And just as humans grow up, we are going to have to grow up in our relationship with Jesus. And that revealed a new truth to me. That when you start to take Jesus seriously, your life will seriously change. You will look different than other people. You will act different than other people. Your screen time will not be the same as your peers. What did he do for me? He's sanctifying me. I don't say he sanctified me because I'm still growing and I'm still learning and I am still chasing after him. Now more than ever, probably. When you start taking Jesus seriously, your life will seriously change. Check out this video. This bottle represents you. Inside of it is darkness. The water represents Jesus. And some of you are getting a little bit of Jesus every week. A little bit of Jesus. A little bit. A little bit. Some of you are still struggling day after day with the same old sins. And I know for some of you, you've said, Travis, I've asked God to take these sins away. I'm trying to fight them. I've got it away. I've asked people to pray for them. I've asked God to help me ignore them. But you can't do this by yourself. If you want real change, you have to really change something. You have to put more Jesus in your life than the world in your life. And some of you are like me. You go to church on Sundays and Wednesdays, but Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, You keep struggling with the same things, and you keep putting more sin in your week, whether it's pride or lust or envy or gluttony or self-harm or self-deprecation, whatever it may be, you keep pouring the world into you and expect to be different. But until you get a steady stream of Jesus in you, you don't start to notice the difference. It takes time. I think some of you are like, if I say yes to Jesus, I'll never have another problem. I'll always be I'll never have another sin enter my life. Nothing will penetrate my thought and my heart, and that's just not true. Because when you stop putting Jesus in your life, guess what happens? The darkness continues to fill you up until you are dark again. But a constant stream, consistently, that's the difference. And here's the last truth. Consistency leads to victory. Consistency leads to victory. I've always struggled with my weight. I've always been a big guy. And when I started putting more of Jesus into my life, when I started making him a daily priority, when I wake up and I put the full armor of God on before I go into battle, I'm stronger. I'm better. About 16 months ago, I started this health journey. And it's been a battle. Every day I got to say no to things I want. Every day I have to say no to things I want. But consistency has led to my victory. I've lost 94 pounds in 16 months. I don't need applause, okay? I'm just telling you. This doesn't happen overnight. Sanctification does not happen overnight. You don't become a spiritual warrior in a week. It takes years and years of repeating this process because consistency leads to victory. So let me repeat that. When you start taking Jesus seriously, your life will seriously change. I saw something really cool yesterday. I took one of my daughters to this gym. It's called Neville's Fitness. It's in Newport. And on the wall there, it says, pray and work. It says, pray and work. You don't get results by just praying. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort. So whether you're fighting a sin, whether you're changing behavior, yes, pray. Pray about it. Ask people to pray for you. Ask people to encourage you. Ask people to check in on you. But you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. But if you do, consistency will lead to victory. Let's pray.